All right, and I believe we are all set. We have, coming up next here, Toronite running Spyro Reignited Trilogy any percent. Take it away.
Spyro Reignited Trilogy any percent. Take it away.
Oh, sorry about that. my apologies. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me. That was a little technical difficulty on my end. My apologies. And there we go. Okay, so bit of a reintroduction. Hello, my name is Toronite, and I am running Spyro Reignited Trilogy, the Year of the Dragon, the third game of the trilogy, doing the 80% category. And there is a lot of there's a lot of really neat things that I want to showcase off in this marathon, and I'm all ready to go in if everybody else is. So I'm ready to count down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So this whole trilogy was released a few years ago, about 5 years ago. It is a reimagining, basically a made from the ground up remake of the original 3 Spyro games, the ones that everybody loves: Spyro 1, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon. So the third game, Year of the Dragon, is my favorite of the trilogy. And just to kind of give a quick background on what the story is, because believe me, we're not going to have any time to really kind of consume the story, but we are going to, but basically we have dragon eggs all over the dragon realms that get stolen by the sorceress and her army of Rhinox. And the sorcerer has an apprentice called Bianca. There you see her. Hi Bianca, bye Bianca. And we are just about ready to begin. We also have a bit of our kind of a sidekick to us. We have Hunter the cheetah, who is going to be assisting us in some ways. You kind of just see him there right now. And the name of the game in any percent is essentially beat the game as fast as possible. And, well, thank you, Zoe. Zoe is basically going to be serving as our checkpoint. And let's see. I'm going to try to see if I can get this little bit of a jump there. Didn't quite work, but that is fine. So Bianca is going to be our, I guess, our foil throughout the entire run until we get to actually get to confront the sorceress. And what we are going to do is essentially our objective of the game is to collect 100 eggs. That is the amounts that we need to rescue out of the possible 149 throughout the regular game that will allow us to confront the sorceress. How do we actually get to those 100 eggs? Well, you'll see throughout the run. And the first level that we are going to, even though we did see a level at the very beginning called Sunny Villa, we're actually going to go to Cloud Spires first, because it's going to help us kind of go around a nice little loop. And just like that, we've already beaten the level. So the way Spyro 3 works in their respective levels is that they have a bit of an objective, whether you have to do a certain action or talk to an NPC at the very end of the game, at the end of the level, and you'll receive an egg, and that essentially serves as a check for that specific level. Because unlike in, for example, Spyro 1, where you just needed to complete a certain objective to advance to the next homeworld or set of levels, you actually need to complete, and I say complete or beat the levels by getting the final egg in that you get for the main objective of the game. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to essentially find our way to get to the end of the level egg as soon as possible. And you kind of saw that right now with that little trick that we did. Normally we'd have to go through a bunch of obstacles, a bunch of Rhinox that are going to get in our way, including a little gem check. And gem is our currency, for those of you who may not have picked that up yet. Gem is our currency. Red means is 1 gem, green is 2 gems, purple is 5 gems, yellow is, or gold is 10 gems, and pink is 25 gems. So there are certain obstacles in this game that actually can only be passed through by paying a certain amount of gems, and we do that by paying this very greedy character. Some of you guys may know who that is. His name is Moneybags, a very greedy bear who made his introduction in Spyro 2, and he made his return as another antagonist because he is working for the sorceress, and he is trapping, not just stopping our progression until we pay him, but also we also have to rescue a lot of animal companions, which is the main gimmick of Year of the Dragon. Every game kind of has its own little unique gimmick. Spyro 1, well, it's the first one. Spyro 2 introduced a lot more platforming ability for Spyro, like wall climbing, going underwater, and having a little flutter that you can get, and you get all those abilities by paying Moneybags in Spyro 2. In Spyro 3, you retain all those abilities, but what you do now is, the main gimmick for this level, for this game, is that he has animal companions. So part of the objective of getting to the next set of homeworlds is to not only get the end of level egg of every single individual level of this game, but also free every single animal companion of that homeworld set, and also get their end of level egg. So the reason why, any percent in this game is kind of a small homage to the OG Spyro trilogy in terms of the speedrun objective of the OG Spyro's 100 egg, because in 80% in Spyro 3 in the original is extremely different in the sense that you don't need 100 eggs, and there's a million glitches and skips that you can essentially do to bypass so many things of this so many egg or gem requirements that you typically want to avoid. So in this game, we don't have anything like that. We don't have like the famous helmet proxy or the famous sorceress skip that OG any percent has. But the cool thing about Reignited Trilogy is that even though a lot of those glitches and skips that makes the original kind of really fun to speedrun, well, just because they fixed all of their problems or not all of them, but some of the problems from the original, that doesn't mean that new problems weren't creative or new ways for us to kind of exploit the game in terms of speedrunning the 80% route. Again, we may not have a helmet proxy or a swim in air, but we do have tricks in this game that not even the original has, and we're going to be doing quite a bit of it. And we've already completed Sunnyvilla. Nothing too crazy about Sunnyvilla here. And by the way, I'm running on PS4 on console, which is a little bit different. So this game also is available on Steam, which means that there is actually a separate category for it in terms of running it on PC. Running on PC kind of entails its own set of tricks and its own set of I don't want to say it's a completely different category, but it is different enough to where it does require basically becoming its own game. The main thing also is because of the way the game is timed. On console, it's actually we actually time the game by the in-game time. The reason why is PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Series S, and the Nintendo Switch all run the game very, very differently, and it kind of leads to a bit of an unfair way to time the runs if we're just going strictly off RTA. So we basically rely on the in-game time that this game has, that I believe the Reignited Trilogy introduced for the first time, because I do not believe the original has all right, come on, that I don't believe the original had. So it is nice to kind of have that bit of a cushion to basically that great equalizer in terms of showing how fast someone is running in this game. On PC, we use like a very special like loadless timer that is not entirely RTA, but it does do a great job in giving a way more accurate time in terms of making sure that we got a proper runtime. Sometimes even stuff like RTA where we may have do a missed input in terms of maybe we accidentally quit the game instead of exiting the level, which I can't promise that will not happen in this run. So hopefully we kind of go through this game about as smooth as possible. So, but yeah, we're essentially kind of going through the motions in terms of just going through all the different levels. Seashell Shore, which is the level that we're about to have go into right now. First of all, it's our first level where it's mostly underwater, and and this level has maybe one of my favorite tricks in this entire run. I'm not going to spoil it right now. You will see it in a minute or so, and it will actually introduce us to one of these new characters that we are meant to rescue. So you're kind of starting out with this initial part in Seashell Shore. I want to try to first grab this egg. And one thing that we're about to do is something called a perfect hover that we'll see in just a second. I will explain that in a little sec right now. So yeah, so every time, actually, I will explain perfect hover in a second. But first, we want to go into get squished by this barrel and push us right off the stage. And boom, there's the rest of the stage. And hey, there's Sheila. Hey, we rescued Sheila. Hi, Sheila. How are you doing? I don't know when did we rescue you, but we rescue you. So the reason why this trick happened, that little out of bounds skip, is because when Spyro gets squished, he gets basically some invincibility frames. But at the same time that Spyro has those frames, the next barrel in that Rhinox cycle, it basically kind of still keeps going through, and we basically time a jump to where we go from the squish state to the jump state while having those invincibility frames and having the barrel squish us, because what'll happen is it basically forces the game to push us farther because we can't really occupy two spaces at the same time. So basically one has to go, and fortunately for speed running purposes, that is us. We got pushed out of bounds, and this is how we actually don't get access to Sheila. We still have to rescue her, but the thing about these minigames, and this is carryover from the original game, you can access these minigames if you are able to find a way to navigate them. If you're able to trick your way into going into those respective portals or into those entrances to those minigames, you actually don't have to rescue the animal companion to actually play those minigames, but you still have to play those games. But you still have to rescue them to get their end of level egg, just so that we can actually advance to the next homeworld. And ooh, that was kind of stressful. The thing, if I had touched any one of those mines, then that would have been game over for that little run, and I have to basically redo the whole thing. So really, really happy that I actually didn't have to get hit there. So now that we are kind of doing getting out of Seashell Shore, we're actually wrapping up our first homeworld. This is the Sunrise Spring levels. Now it's actually a pretty good time to if anybody got any announcements, any messages, donations, more than welcome to mention them now.
Well, we do have a $55 donation from Vinny the Vixen with no comment, but we appreciate it nonetheless. Keep those donations rolling in, y'all. Type !donate in the chat to get a link to our Tiltify page. And while you're there, don't forget to add both your opinion to one of the polls and to toggle the tab to one of the goals, one of the targets, to help us add a little extra pizzazz to the marathon.
Yeah, and I know this game is, and also if anybody in the chat that wants to kind of who love this game, I want to hear what other people think. I want to hear what your favorite dragon egg name, because you notice that all of these eggs, they have all of these dragons that hatch from their eggs, they actually have their own they actually have a name, and we haven't come across my favorite name in the entire run. There's a lot of really cool, really cute names in here in this run, but I know a constant, not a constant debate, but I know a lot of people that love this game. You know, they have their favorite egg in the game, and there's a lot of really funny names in here, and I'll try to highlight just a few of them, including my favorite one in this. I think it's in the next homeworld where we're actually going to come up with my favorite dragon egg in the game. So we're actually going through a speedway level. So this is something that's been introduced all the way since Spyro 1, where you get some free flight levels, and you just go have a time limit and you try to beat obstacles. And the reason why we're doing this is because we get basically a free 400 gems and an egg. And let's see. Okay, and we have another, we actually have a hunter minigame. This will be our one and only time of actually playing as Hunter the cheetah. There's actually more ways, more eggs to get by playing as Hunter, but we're actually not going to deal with that. So what we are actually going to do is, oops, guidebook to the wrong level. That's fine. That still pushes us a little bit closer to the final level that we want to head into. So the reason why we're doing this level, even though it's the reason why we do these speedway levels, as I mentioned, you essentially get a couple of free eggs, and you also get 400 gems. I haven't talked about the importance of gem routing throughout this for this marathon up to this point for now, but so this game has about 15,000 gems. This game also, as I mentioned, has gem checks for trying to get over an obstacle. For example, we're going to encounter money bags in a moment. We also have to pay money bags to free the animal companions that we need to complete their respective levels in order to get to the next homeworld. But the way we basically have everything routed out in terms of skipping certain segments of the levels where we don't have to pay money bags, that basically means that the actual amount of gems from those 15,000 possible gems we can get throughout the course of normal gameplay, and there's money bags. No one likes them, but we're gonna have to pay him 300 gems in order to actually play as Sheila. We actually only need to get, for the purposes of the speedrun, 2,300, which is an amazing number that we've been able to pull down. I don't know how many gems over the course of like a normal playthrough of the game, but it's like several thousand more gems that we need to pay money backs. But we actually got it cut down to 2,300, and 2,000 of them is just strictly on the animal companions. There is a 300 gem check that we actually technically could have encountered right now in Molten Crater, but that's actually something that we will deal with much later in the run, because we actually cannot get all the eggs that we want in an any percent speedrun on the first trip, or even if we technically have the gems to actually get that, to actually go to Molten Crater, to that hidden segment. But there's actually 2 hidden segments in Molten Crater that allows us to get a total of 3 eggs. One of them requires another animal companion that we haven't had the pleasure of encountering yet. So we're going to have to free him in order to be able to play his level. So right now we're essentially playing as Sheila Kangaroo. Her objective in this level is essentially clear out all the Rhinox and all the enemies in this level to be able to have all the 3 goats that live here into their respective huts. So we are basically just done with that. Is that all of these eggs, all of these animal companion levels, they're very, very short. So it's a free 3 eggs, and they're also required. We actually have to beat the levels in order to actually in order to actually get to the next homeworld. And with that, we're actually done with the first set of homeworlds, and we're only 18 minutes in. We're already done with the first set of homeworlds. So after every set of levels that we complete, we get a new we are able to travel to the next homeworld, and with the help of all of the NPCs that we helped out throughout the entirety of this level, we can access this balloon. Nice little reference to the balloonist in Spyro 1, where this is the only way to travel into a new set of worlds. Now, we're actually gonna enter our first proper boss of the fight. Every homeworld, at the end, you have to beat a boss, and this is our first one, Buzz, or as I like to call him, big chunky green Sonic the Hedgehog, and you will see in just a moment. And another thing with also these bosses is that you also get a little bit of help from the animal companions that you freed in the respective homeworld. So this is Buzz. The objective is simply push him into the lava and have Sheila stomp on him. So let's see. And I did not get it. Okay. So Buzz has a... every time Buzz takes damage, he will enact a special little spin cycle where you want to try to end the spin cycle as soon as possible, whether that be damage boosting or as in getting hit on purpose, because every time you take damage during the spin cycle, the cycle automatically ends, or you want to try to do some fancy movement to try to see if you can get Buzz to kind of end his cycle early. And let's see. Okay, so we're about halfway done through the fight, and every time we deal more damage, or rather, every 2 hits that we deal, we basically unlock like a new phase. So Buzz does... Okay, okay, this is what I wanted. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys caught that. Buzz went right through me. So this is actually kind of what I was alluding to, trying to find a way to be creative at ending the cycle early without having to without having to get hit by Buzz. So that was a really cool... Okay, I've been basically tinkering around with this form of trying to get Buzz to end his spin cycle early without having to actually without having to actually hurt me. And we actually got it. I'm really happy we actually at least got to show it off. If you want to look back on the VOD on that hit, you'll notice that like Buzz essentially went right through Spyro. So I don't know what's the best way I can explain it is this game, out of the 3 games in the trilogy, probably I believe had the least amount of development time, because they were so focused on trying to get Spyro 1 done as well as possible. And as a result, we now have to as a result, there are there's a few bugs in this game that that they did not fix, or they did not polish through all the way. So we are Sparksless. So Sparks is our little dragonfly buddy who basically is the one taking the hits for us. He serves as our health bar. And there's three colors for Sparks: yellow, blue, and green. Yellow means you're at full health. Blue is when you take 1 hit. Green is when you take a second hit. And after you get hit, when Sparks is at green, Sparks isn't available. So that's also kind of a negative, because Sparks doesn't just take hits, it takes hits for us. He also actually collects gems. So if you notice, I can't actually access Sparks. Now that he appeared, he actually collected that little purple gem. So that's why we want to, at the very least, want to have Sparks in some way, shape, or form, even if it is in the green, just so that we don't have to worry about having to collect gems ourselves and lose a lot of time just because we have to do everything ourselves. So this is... So by the way, so this is... Oh boy. Bad cycle. There we go. Sorry, that monster, that little flying monster, he basically stood in our way, and there was hardly any room for us to actually navigate and advance to that little portion to get us into the next round, into the next part of the level. And oh boy, this is such a chaotic... Oh wow, we got... Oh, we got KO'd by... Oh, I don't remember how far this is gonna set us back. I don't think it's gonna be a major time loss, but there's a lot of chaos in this final segment of the level, because textures are flying around. You're essentially going in blind. And let's see. Okay, it's not too big of a time loss. We didn't get, we're not that far back. So this is totally fine. And let's see. Okay, we gotta wait for the little monster to stop getting in our way. And you kind of see that big statue of the sorceress. Objective of this level is to blow up that sorceress statue with these 3 rockets that we see throughout the level, at this little portion of the level. And now that we've kind of got all 3 rockets fired, it takes a little bit of a second to actually get them to hit the sorceress statue. So it gives us a little bit of time to be able to collect some extra gems. But honestly, by this point, we are actually kind of over gemmed. If I'm being perfectly honest, we have a lot more gems than I normally would have. So I'm pretty happy. We can actually skip some gems, so that actually saves us some time. So right here, we're actually getting 2 eggs as far as doing stuff for Hunter. He's going to teach us how to ride a skateboard. Although the funny thing is, this is actually not the first time we could have ridden a skateboard. Sunny Villa had a skateboard minigame, but for some reason they kind of left the skateboard tutorial for the second time you can actually ride a skateboard in this level. This game was also made in the 2000s, so of course it had to have some form of skateboarding minigame, because Tony Hawk Pro Skater was all the rage back in the day. So of course you have to do something, because Spyro is just a rad tad dude who don't care for no authority figure. So that is the first egg, just completing the tutorial. And the second minigame, we actually have to beat Hunter in a high score game. It is very, very difficult in terms of getting a high score. I'm just kidding. Actually, we won. In the original game, this is actually a much bigger thing to have to overcome. If you can only get 3,000 points in the Reignited trilogy, you're done. You don't even need to wait for the 2-minute timer to end. You can just hit give up and essentially go into your and go on with your merry way and collect your trophy, which is an egg that Hunter is for some reason Hunter was hiding it from us. So I don't know why he wanted to compete for the egg when we have the same objective in trying to save all these poor little babies. So, all right, we're gonna need to get an egg here first. By the way, this is my favorite egg in the game, Mingus. I don't know why. I just love the name Mingus. It's such a funny little name. There's a lot of really funny names and a lot of cute names throughout this level. So if you guys encountered an egg name that you like throughout this run, or if you have a favorite because you've played this game before, feel free to write them down in the chat. Okay, so we're now about to enter Icy Peak. Icy Peak is an interesting level because there's quite a few tricks and skips that we want to try to do. Oh wait, hold on. We don't need to go into to him. We actually want to get hit on purpose because what the game intended for us to do is to get into that cannon and blow the ice block, but the game actually has that NPC stay in the cannon too long, so it's actually much faster to just get hit on purpose and use the TNT to blow up the rock. So all right, so we're gonna get 2 eggs here really quick out of sequence. So let me line this up, and there we go. Perfect. Oh, whoops, my finger slipped and I had the charge button. Oh, no matter. There we go. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this right, and there we go. This little egg that we're about to get, we were not meant to get him already. We're supposed to actually go around the end of the level. Once we get the end of level egg, there's gonna be a way for us to access that egg, but for the power of sheer clever platforming, we are able to not only get that, but also get this egg, Maynard. So that was Maynard's skip. So notice that cannon, those little square rectangular textures that it has next to the side of the cannon part. Okay, Okay, what? There we go. They actually have a tiny bit of collision, and it has just enough for Spyro to land on top of, and to be able to to do a tiny bit of a charge jump, just to be able to actually get enough distance to get that egg. And boom, there we go, perfect. So these thieves hold eggs, and the dev intended way is to actually beat the yellow thief first, but that red thief is technically also possible to beat. And if you do just clever enough of clever platforming and clever speed management, you're able to essentially go into where the red thief is at the top of that pillar, and just flame him, and you get that red thief egg without actually having to raise the red thief. And because of that, the yellow thief is free for the taking. And yeah, that's so far we've been flying through this real quickly. Now's a pretty good time to actually no. Before we get to any more messages or any more donations, I want to show off one trick that we're actually gonna do right now. And that is something that not a lot of casual players know. So you kind of see this waterfall. Spyro can't climb waterfall. Oh well. That would have been so cool if I actually got it in the first try. Let's try this again. Spyro can't climb up. Okay, one more. Let's see. There we go. See, first try. Spyro can't climb a waterfall. But oh, wait a minute. Yes, he can. So we basically do this to get quick access to Country Speedway, as opposed to having to go all the way around the level, which doesn't lose a ton of time because there's a lot of levels over there. But we kind of want to go through the homeworld in reverse order after the first two levels. And you kind of saw how the first the first Speedway level, Mushroom Speedway, kind of went, and it's essentially the same premise. So while we're kind of doing this, now's a good time to if there's any more messages or donations to mention.
Yeah, well, we have a $75 from some person named Maddie Inc., who says, let's kick this marathon off right. Let's keep up the hype and spread the word to anyone you think might be interested. So true, Maddie Inc.
Oh man, I hear Maddie Inc. is a chill host.
Well, thank you kindly. But that said, everyone, spread the word to the marathon. Many hands makes for light work. If anyone that likes speed gaming, likes Spyro, likes any of the games that you see on the schedule, let them know. Have them stop by and have a good time.
All right, so that was just perfect enough time for me to finish up this level. Funny you mentioned. Funny that throughout this whole deal, I actually had that was the fastest I've ever gone through that level. That was 40. I think they said 44.2 seconds. I've never actually hit a 44-second Country Speedway. So,
Nice.
Maddie, that donation from Maddie Inc. definitely helped. It was that was the good luck that got me that minor individual level PB. So now that we're done with Country Speedway, here's another neat little trick that I love. So this game has there's a hidden egg by destroying these four vases, and there's another egg here, but it takes a little bit of time to be able to have to collect all those two eggs individually. So you know what? Might as well just get two eggs at the exact same time. If we time our final flame at the exact same moment we actually get that other egg, then we automatically not only get that egg, but we get the egg by breaking the fourth vase, and it puts us right in front of our next level, Bamboo Terrace. So very, very nice little speed tech for anybody that is curious if they want to speedrun this game or if they just want to play this casually. So Bamboo Terrace, there's two tricks. Well, one is I wouldn't call them tricks, but they're nice little speed techs in terms of actually going through the game, getting through the level a little bit quicker. So the first one that we'll encounter after I get the first two eggs in the level, which are very conveniently next to each other. We can see the first egg here, and we want to do this little flutter because there is a chance that it actually wasn't going to clear. We didn't do the hover. I have lost a PB because of that. So now there's the second egg. So now this one, the objective is to clear out all the enemies to get all the pandas to open up the bridge. But you know what? We don't need no stinking bridge. We can just hover our way and glide with just enough distance to be able to actually pull that off. So that is trick number one. Got it, no problem. The second trick we will just encounter in a quick second after we get the end of level egg. There's Tom. And you kind of notice, remember the thieves we saw in Icy Peak? Well, one of them is back. So, but I want to try to aim this properly. And there we go. Boom. Instead of chasing him throughout the entire level, we are able to trick to basically set ourselves up in a good position where the egg thief has no choice but to jump forward. Normally, a lot of egg thieves, they have an option to kind of run forward. They kind of have an option to run backwards. But this one in particular, its starting point can only go forward. So if we basically get into a position where we can aggro the thief, but do so in a way where we're right next to it, when it starts jumping to the other side of the broken bridge, we can flame him really easily and get a very, very quick, egg, as opposed to kind of running all around. Which, if the bridge skip hadn't worked, we actually could have witnessed something very, very funny. So you remember how we never actually opened that bridge halfway through the level? So if we had not gotten that thief egg at that moment and had to run around all the level, which by the way would have lost us like a lot of time because it is not a small level to get to that point. But if we had gotten to the point where the thief was going to go to where the bridge was going to be, the AI behavior dictates that it has to go through the bridge. However, we never opened the bridge. So what happens when a thief programmed to run through a bridge tries to go to a bridge that doesn't exist? Well, what happens is the thief goes underwater. He basically goes to the space where the bridge is and just sinks to the bottom and just starts running and running, and he just gets stuck in the underwater wall, and it's makes for a very, very funny sight, just seeing the egg just kind of sputtering around underwater because it doesn't know what to do because they're supposed to run for a bridge. Where's the bridge? Game, where's the bridge? So at the very least, it would have made for a really funny moment if I had not gotten that trick. So that's one thing, as we're kind of now about to enter our final level, which is our next companion, Sergeant Bird. I do want to take a little bit of time to talk about like I want to say like the history, but the recent developments of this speed run, because the 90% category of this run has really kind of starting to gain a lot of momentum as of late. We've had a couple of runners, including myself, get into this game. I myself only got into this game about 3 months ago, and I'm already made it to the point where I'm now 7th on leaderboard with an in-game time PB of 38:35. And there's a lot of new runners. Trinity Gaming, another one that's entered the top 10. So shoutouts to Trinity. And also shoutouts to Surf SRT, who is the current world record holder, who is essentially the main reason why I'm even running this game to begin with. The cool thing about this category is that the routing, this kind of seems to evolve with this game. And the whole thing with Country Speedway is that it allows us to get some 400 gems, where we would have had to spend a little bit of time in terms of going through all these levels and wasting like a few seconds every time out in terms of trying to get those eggs. Well, we don't have to worry about getting those eggs anymore, or those gems, I should say. We We don't have to worry about getting those eggs and wasting seconds every level just to get access, just to get more gems to get to the 2300 number that I want. And because of that, it allows us to be a little bit more risky in terms of going through levels a lot more quicker, not having to deal with figuring out, like, am I under gem? Am I over gemmed? Like, what's my gem count? Am I good? Do I have to like waste some time to in this level? Country Speedway, I don't want to say completely eliminates that, but it makes managing your gem count a lot easier. And Surf, actually, at this point, I don't remember if it was a day. Actually, no, I think it was last night. Last night, Surf actually got the world record, or advanced his world record in this category because of this new, thanks in part to this new route where we are incorporating Country Speedway. You look at a lot of the top 10 runs that are on the leaderboard, most of them actually don't have Country Speedway. So this is kind of like it's not a new development. It's the idea of Country Speedway being in a run actually has been thrown around for quite some time, but it's only been up until not that long ago where we started actually incorporating into runs. And me personally, I think it's great because I am awful when it comes to hunting for gems during levels. So I'm very glad that we got that we actually have this Country Speedway that actually doesn't waste a ton of time. Let's see, get this right. There we go. It doesn't waste a lot of time in terms of in-game counter, and we're able to that was unfortunate, and allows us to basically do runs a little bit more, manage them a little bit better. So anyway, I'm kind of glossing over this. So this is Spike, the second boss of the game. This first phase, we kind of see rocks coming in all around the level. We wanted to, for that first phase, we want to try to bonk those rocks into Spike. The problem with this fight is that the placement of the rocks are entirely RNG dependent, and I got some really lousy RNG, like horrible RNG, but not the worst. And after every 2 hits, kind of the projectile changes. So now we have a purple. So we had a phase 2, we had a red rock, which allows us to breathe fire or like stronger flames, and then this purple rock gave us a nice little like purple projectile to hit our boss with. That Spike, that was actually pretty easy, not much to it. Just avoid the gun that he shoots with, and you should be good to go. We're now about a little over, just a tiny bit over halfway done with the level, and I gotta say, pretty happy for the most part. Pretty happy with how this run is going. We got an estimate of 145. Not to jinx myself, I have a pretty good feeling we are going to smash through that PB for that estimate. Just a hunch. I'm just gonna say that right now. All right. Now that we're kind of still going through the motions a little bit while we're waiting to get into this new home world. There's any more messages or donations or announcements? Now's a pretty good time.
All right. Well, I have another $10 from Eogrim, who says, "Let's go. Best of luck to every runner, and here's to a good cause." Yeah, I haven't mentioned that in a while. We're here raising money for Running for Reels. They are an organization that does demo reels for children in foster care. And each reel is provided free of charge to the representing county or adopting agency as a recruitment resource for prospective adoptive families. And this helps prospective families know who they're adopting a little bit better, not just what trauma the child has experienced, but who they are as a person, what they're interested in, and helps them find a better home.
Loving the loving all the donations we've had so far. Now we're entering Frozen Altars. This level is fun in terms of showcasing one specific trick in this. So there's two platforming out of bounds sequences that we want to try. This first one, I want to line myself up just right and perfect. So now we get this egg that we technically could have gotten 5 seconds 5 seconds later, but where's the fun in waiting 5 seconds to get one of the main collectibles, or rather the main collectible of this game? So that the second one, this one is the real sequence breaker. I want to try to wall glide here, and perfect, first try. So this egg is meant to be the very last egg of the level that you will have access to, and we just immediately got it. So cool thing is that a lot of walls in this game, you're able to sort of wall glide them, and you can use that wall glide to your advantage to be able to do some out of bounds, not out of bounds, but out of sequence platforming. And funny, we're able to actually on both versions of this game, the original and the Reignited trilogy, you actually can sequence break the level to get that egg that we got by doing the wall gliding, albeit in different ways. In the original, I would argue, or at least visually, it looks easier to get it in the original because there's a tiny little ledge that runs through the wall that you can just barely run and jump towards to. They kind of took that away in Reignited, but that did not stop us from finding ways to access that egg. And I'm really grateful for to actually get that first try, because that can be on console, it can be a little bit tricky because of the way the game is programmed on console. On PC, wall gliding is actually easier in some regards. So that egg, it's actually easier to pull off on PC, but on console, it's not an impossible, as we kind of just saw. Got it first try, no problem. So now here at Fireworks Factory, there is one trick that I hope to showcase in a little bit. But now, for first, there's Noodles. Hi, Noodles. This is a fan favorite egg of the Spyro community. And so much so that I believe in the original game, there's actually a speedrun category called Noodles %, which, as the name implies, try to get noodles as fast as possible. So that is so that's Noodles right there. That's where you can find Noodles, in the Fireworks Factory. And you kind of saw that little human character Greta, and she has a twin brother Andal, I think. We're gonna meet him in just a second. Who actually made their appearance in Spyro 2. They are secret agents. Yes, I know they're children, but they're secret agents. So now this is the trick I'm gonna show. See if we want to line ourselves up properly, and boom, there we go. So that is Sam Skip. So this egg is something that would normally require us to access by going through an entire loop that will probably be like 30 seconds. That takes about 30 seconds to try to beat. And but because of the way the egg is positioned, and because of the way the bomb travels, and with the damage boosting, we're actually able to position ourselves in such a way that we can take damage and get pushed back just enough to where we can access that egg, and we don't have to access through the entirety of the Ninja HQ, which is actually the name of the place. They call it, if you look on the guidebook, it's called Ninja HQ, which is really funny because there's a bunch of Rhinox just being cosplaying as ninjas. So thankfully we didn't have to see a whole lot of cosplaying ninjas, and we're gonna access. Let's see. Okay, so this is funny. Let's see if we can avoid the curse of the jank whale. So this whale has a little bit of a stability problem, and thankfully we are in good position to where we were not in trouble. So the jank whale, as it's called in the Spyro community, has a chance of, depending on where it's positioned, to just essentially not work, not spit us out, and basically mini softlock us from leaving, and would have to quit the game and come back, which is just not a big deal in all honesty. And it's actually what we are supposed to do to save in-game time on console. Okay, so here's Charn Bridge. Charn Bridge is maybe the most stressful most stressful level in the entire game, and already we are not off to such a hot start. Some people like to call this Cursed Ridge, just because there's so many ways this level can go wrong, because there's everything kind of firing at you at the same time. But that means there's a lot of chance for some neat little tricks, like this first one. We're able to wall glide up here and do our first thing of sequence breaking, and we're able to get this little cutie way earlier than we were supposed to. So accessing this little portion, we're not meant to do that right this second. And just, okay, Spyro, if you can just behave. Yeah, sometimes the problem with Spyro, he even if you're trying to go backwards, the ledges kind of magnetically pull Spyro upwards, even though you're not trying to. So let's see if we can aim this right, and yep, we got it right. Perfect. Nice little Chef Curry action right there. So what you were meant to do is the dev intended way is you kind of see that little cat over there that we just beat. So that cat unlocks the drawbridge, which is the only way to access the final portion of the level. But by doing so, by hitting him with a fireball, we're able to access it all without having to do the dev intended way of also going through another cat wizard that essentially has a lot of what it does. It throws a lot of magic rocks, and you have almost no space to be able to dodge them. So we don't have to worry about that little cat anymore. So we've kind of been noticing a trend with these Jack and the Beanstalk eggs. So now we want to try to avoid doing the rest of the puzzle. And boom, first try. Okay, so what that trick was, there's actually one more puzzle with the Jack and the Beanstalk eggs in terms of going like very long, the longest version of this puzzle, where you have to like set 3 mushrooms or 2 mushrooms and a flower seed, and we didn't want any bit of that. So there was just enough height we get from that mushroom, and we're able to just kind of keep our hover distance just high enough. We are able to skip that entire portion of the game. And we didn't really see the story of this level, but essentially all the fairies were trying to avoid their princess from marrying the cat prince Azrael. And everyone thought like, oh my god, Prince Azrael is forcing the fairy princess to marry him. And no, the fairy princess said, what are you talking about? No, I want to marry my my magic wielding, leather jacket, motorcycle riding bad boy kitty boyfriend. And you know what? I think we all deserve a magic wielding, leather jacket wearing, motorcycle riding bad boy kitty in all our lives. I think we all deserve someone that special in our lives. Okay, so now it's time for the second to last level of the Evening Lake levels, Lost Fleet. This one has also a lot of really neat little skips and tricks. Now this one is interesting in the sense that you can potentially fail the trick if your depth perception isn't good enough, and you'll kind of see in a sec. So there's 2 aspects of this trick that I'm about to do. The first trick is we need to get on top of that pirate ship from the very beginning, and okay. There we go. No, come on. It's a okay. Game is not being cooperative. There we go. Yeah. So remember from Seashell Shore, where we basically had that barrel push us out of bounds because the game doesn't want us to try to be in a certain space. Did I get this right? Okay, good. So it's essentially the same principle where it kind of got squeezed. It squeezes us upwards, and that is the first part. That was the second part that we just did. It just kind of go onto that little wall to get this egg. Normally, it would require us to swim through a pool of acid, and now we don't have to do that anymore. And so this is Crazy Ed. Basically, our deal is trying to get Crazy Ed into the big pirate ship in this level. You want to know? No one really explains why Crazy Ed is called Crazy Ed, but he does mention in flavor text that this is a pool of acid. It may not look like it, but this is also actually a pool of acid, and he calls this his swimming hole. I don't know how he could actually swim in this. Spyro can't actually swim in this. If Spyro swims in this, he actually will take he's not going to take damage. He's gonna actually lose a life, believe it or not. And the only way to navigate through this level is by going through some invincibility power-ups that you kind of see right there. But we won't need to do that. We will not have to do that for the rest of the at any point during the run. Actually, no, that's a lie. We actually are going to do it for a very brief second, and I need to be very careful because Sparks is not here, but we're able to get flame a little critter, and we got some much needed health. It's kind of a little bit dangerous to go through this final portion without any health, so I am very, very glad very glad we are fine in terms of health. Or at the very least, we only have one. We can only take one hit before Sparks is gone forever, or at least until we get a new set, another little critter, and we flame him, charge him, whatever, just to spawn a butterfly for Sparks to come back. But yeah, now we're actually gonna enter our final level. I think it's a good time for if there's anything anybody wants to shout out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a bunch of polls and targets that are open here. Polls are being able to vote with your money on what you want to see have happen, and through Tiltify you can also put that money towards a target at the same time, 2 for 1. But coming up tomorrow, we have a few that are going to be decided here. That is, which Spider-Man game do you want to see played? You have your choice between Spider-Man 2000 and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. Currently, Spider-Man 2000 is winning with $50 to 5. And you can pick the Splatoon run's Inkling gender. So the character you're playing as is going to either be a boy or a girl. And girl is in a commanding lead with 130 to 25. But if you want to just, take over first place, we also have opened up the backyard skating run for which version do you want to see played, with either the original version or the Game of the Year version, as well as Muppet Race Mania and which Muppet do you want to see played, and no one has voted on those yet. But also importantly, we have targets for Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring to finish with a fish. If you want to see that happen, we're going to need a lot of money. It's the first run in the morning tomorrow, and that needs another $475, so get those donations in. Following shortly after that, we have Hardcore Uprising will go blindfolded for that run, which needs $125. So those are happening tomorrow, first half of the day. So get those donations in, and keep it rolling there, Toronite.
Awesome. And by the way, if you ask me personally, I am partial to Spider-Man 2000. I loved that game as a little kid. Played it a bunch as a when I was little and on my original PS1. So much so that I actually overused the disc and it barely worked just because of how much I played it. So I am partial to that game. Although Enter Electro is also very fun.
Yeah, there you go, folks. Get those donations in to make sure that happens.
So kind of glossed over this big fella, Bentley the Yeti. His whole thing is he's Yeti, has a giant club. really not much else to it. Not the deepest character in the world, but don't worry. You will see Bentley in just a second. So first of all, I need to get some free health because what we're about to do next requires us to be at full health because wait, you're not gonna talk automatically? Okay, whatever. So we are actually looking pretty solid on time. Okay, here comes the big one. This is the trick that will essentially set. This is the separates the big league runners of this game from the not so big league runners of this game. This next trick will require a lot of concentration and will require us to set up the next boss fight in such a way that we're able to take the object that we are going to use to win this next boss fight into the next level, into the very first level of the final set of worlds. The trick is called rocket storage. What it essentially is, rocket storage is, so what you'll notice throughout the run, throughout this boss fight is Bentley will throw us rockets, red rockets and green rockets. We'll use those rockets to try to damage the next boss, Scorch. And the thing about this is we want to try and have Bentley throw a green rocket the moment we hit Scorch, because that way that green rocket will not be despawned and we have like 1.5 seconds to grab it. So the first part of it is to be able to stun lock him and perfect fireballs. That is great. Don't want a green rocket. Well, actually no, green rocket on the first deal is fine. The name of the game is to try and stun lock Scourge. And the way we do that is by using these red rockets, which so the way the properties work on the rockets is we have red rockets and we have green rockets. Red rockets do a little bit of homing, and the green rockets home into the target, and the red rockets, it's just a ton of rockets shooting out one from the other, like a machine gun or something. But the problem is they do the same amount of damage, so we want to try to go for red rockets. The way it works in terms of setting up this rocket storage is that there is kind of like a count of like different rockets that are the amount of rockets that can be out on the field. You can only have a maximum of 2 red rockets, and you can have a maximum of 4 red rockets. So now, hold on, kind of set this up very perfectly. And I did it like a second too late. Okay, so what was meant to happen was, I did it like a second too late in getting that green rocket, because you basically kind of have to count like anywhere between 8 seconds and 9 seconds, and I counted a little bit too slow on that one. So what was meant to happen is we were supposed to have a green rocket throw out like as in like a quarter of a second sooner when I got that final hit in, and to try to get the rocket to stay there. Setup was fine because we were able to stun lock him enough times with the red rockets, but we were not able to kind of get the green rocket going. However, this is fine because we actually have a backup strategy for this. The reason why we need the green rocket is because there is the first level that we're going to go to, Crystal Islands. You can barely do anything in that level without having to pay money bags. 1,000 gems. I think it was like 1,000 gems or 800 gems, and we do not have that. And Crystal Islands is a great source of having 5 free eggs that are relatively quick, but we need the green rocket to be able to give us those red rockets, that green rocket, to be able to unlock the ability to get all 5 of those eggs in quick succession. But as I mentioned, this game didn't have the greatest development time compared to Spyro 1. in this game was also made with the equivalent of a paperclip, a wad of chewing gum, and a Ken Griffey Jr. baseball card. So, just because the green rocket didn't work doesn't mean that we don't have other alternatives to trying to try to get those 5 eggs. However, it is a slower way to get those eggs, to get what we're trying to get, and the way to do it is by actually refighting the second boss of the game, Spike. And this little trick is, as you will know, as you will see in just a second, is called Purple Rock. The reason why is because instead of the green rocket that we will store in our mouths throughout the entire trip, we will have a purple rock in our possession to fire off. And the purple rock is way more consistent and way easier to pull off than the green rocket. The problem is, RTA wise, it probably like waits like 3 minutes, and whereas green rocket, it doesn't. So we essentially had to wait for Sergeant Bird to drop off another purple rock when we are on the final hit, because it's the same principle. We want to try to have the projectile available to grab after the boss fight, outside of the realms of the actual fight itself. And by doing so, we can store that purple rock in our mouths throughout this rocket ship ride. I can't imagine this is comfortable in any way, shape, or form for Spyro. For doing this on a rocket ship ride, question of the day: how does that? Any engineers in the chat? Someone explain to me how this rocket actually works. This rocket does not look like it is properly engineered to be actually firing, to be able to lift off and travel the way it does. So that is my question of the day for you in the chat, if you guys are willing to brave a guess. Second question of the day. We have another rocket here. Where did the second rocket come from, folks? Where did the second rocket come from? We just got out of a rocket. The NPCs from these levels only were able to build 1 rocket. Where did the second rocket come from? Okay, so now we finally are going through our the final set of worlds. So we have, I say we probably have another, I would say probably about 15, I'd say closer to 20 minutes away from beating this game. Might not even be 20 minutes, partially because we've been doing we've been managing through the game by doing some RTA saving strats that does lose us some in-game time. Because the way the in-game time works in this game is it pauses every time, at any time where Spyro does not have the ability to access the guidebook, which is the thing that keeps track of our progress bars, allows us to quick travel to any level that we've already traveled to up to this point. And we're now actually about to enter Crystal Islands for the first and final time, really. By the way, with the purple rock still in our hand, so you will see I'm going to fire, but it won't be a flame. It will be a purple rock, so you'll see in just a second. And oh, there we go. Come on, Spyro. Your aim is about as good as a stormtrooper, so I'm gonna try to beat this thief. And we already got our first egg of this batch of levels. That's egg number 1. Egg number 2 will be coming up in just a second. So now, cue the Super Mario 64 slide music. Dan, 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 dan. You guys know the one. And he will, but unfortunately, we're actually not going to go for the entire slide because that it does not save time. In fact, we are just going to fly our way into our second egg, Eloise. So that is egg number 2. This is the end of level egg number 3. So what I tell you, these eggs are coming in real fast. We already got 3 eggs in that was like 20 seconds, and we got our 4th egg coming up in about like 10 more seconds, and our 5th egg, maybe 8 seconds after that. So there's 5 eggs that you can really get in like a 50-second span, which is really nice, and why we prioritize having having a way to access the Crystal Island levels in this manner. Whether it's Purple Rock, whether it's Green Rocket, we're able to get those 5 eggs in quick succession. Remember, the name of the game is to get 100 eggs and 2,300 gems. We've already spent 2,000 of the gems that we need. We just need 300 more. We're going to be fine in terms of gem count, because we are going to, in fact, by the time we're going to need the 300 gems, we are going to be at least like 450 gems. Best case scenario, or like big scenario, probably going to go like close to like 600 gems. So not worry about gems, but the egg count, we're 80% of the way there. So we are actually kind of heading into the home stretch of this run. So this has been a lot of fun in terms of trying to, come on, let's get this. There we go. This has been a lot of fun kind of running through this game. I've only played this game. Well, I've played the Spyro trilogy my entire life, and I've only ever started speedrunning the Reignited trilogy, starting with this game 3 months ago. And there's a lot of really cool people in this community. It's a fantastic group of people that run this game. We all love Spyro. It's really fun. It's very easy to get into. Like I mentioned at the start, there's so many ways to play this game. You have a Switch, you have a PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S or X, or you have a PC. You can buy this on Steam, and it's relatively cheap, I think. Or at least when I bought this game on Steam earlier this summer on PC, it was like 14 bucks or something, because of the Steam Summer sale. But I digress. First, we're going to do this little damage boost to get up the waterfall and do some more out of bounds shenanigans, or sequence breaking shenanigans. We're not meant to get this egg this early into the level. But yeah, as I mentioned, as I alluded to kind of early on, this game is slowly starting to gain some momentum, or gain some more life, with new runners such as myself and Trinity Gaming making it into top 10 into this category. Surf SRT getting world record literally last night of this game in any percent on console. And Surf also created a guide for any new prospective runners who want to run this game either on the PC or on console. Really, the guide is, I believe, more of a PC guide, but almost everything that PC guide shows, it's very much applicable to for any console runner. I highly recommend it. Surf, the current world record holder, is a phenomenal dude who is doing everything in his power to get this community more involved and get some new fresh faces into it. And this game's a lot of fun. If you grind hard enough and you practice enough, you can get a top 10 time, just like I did, in relatively short order. It's not that there's not that many runners, or that like the game is easy, but there's a lot of tricks that you can learn that doesn't take too long, that isn't like not going to take you months and months to pull off. It's a very nice speedrun game for like even beginner speedrunners to try and learn if they want to try speedrunning for the very first time, or if they love Spyro and they want to give it a go, speedrun this game. Year of the Dragon any percent is a really nice way to kind of get your feet wet in that regard. Same with the other two games, Rito's Rage and Spyro the Dragon 1. Both of them excellent games. All 3 games are classics for a reason, so can't go wrong with any of those games. But you know, I'm biased towards Year of the Dragon. Okay, so this is another big trick that is another sequence breaking trick that will get us to the end of the level, like right from the get-go. But this one is tough because there's a torch that you kind of see over there that we want to try and hop on top. And will this work? Good attempt. There's a tiny bit of collision on the torch, and ooh, second try. That's really good. That's a second try torch jump in a marathon is not easy to pull off. So I'm patting myself on the back on that one. So yeah, so this trick is deceptively difficult. To put it bluntly, the Surf's former world record that was broken last night, I believe it was a 31 minutes and 4 seconds in game time. He to kind of illustrate just how tough that trick can be. It took Surf, I believe, 8 tries to actually get it right. And he was still able to set world record with that. But the fact that you can get it, that I got it on the second try, that's not an easy thing to pull off. So I'm very, very happy with that. We're kind of now just running off Haunted Tomb. Nothing too big, too major that we're gonna do right now. So this might very well be the second to last, maybe the second to last, or the last chance we have for any donations or any messages you guys want to shout out. This is one of the last chances we'll have.
Absolutely. Well, if you've been enjoying the run so far, or the event in general, why don't you come check out the Discord? Use !Discord in the chat to get a link, and you can hang out with all the runners and staff and volunteers, learn about more on how to help if you want to join any of those roles yourself. And, we're trying to expand the marathon and get more people involved. Maybe we can even make this a 24-hour marathon in the future. Who knows? Talk to Zojalix if you're interested, especially in doing staff level role for the marathon. And, I've been, helping out here and there for a few years now, and it's a great marathon to be a part of. So I've enjoyed myself, and I hope all of you out there have as well. Don't forget to donate as well, !Donate in chat.
Okay, so this is actually going to be our final new level that we'll, before we get the sorceress. A couple of quick, easy eggs that we can try to get. There is one thing I want to try out. And Maddie can... I actually, no, I think it was Sojalix, or... I don't remember if it's Sojalix or Maddie who saw me try to pull this off, and I did it. So I'm going to try this one little trick that doesn't save a ton of time, but it's a nice little platforming thing. That one... And, just so close. So that if I hit that, that would have saved us a decent amount... not a decent amount, but it would have saved us a few seconds of travel. But that's fine. We were close on that one. I actually hit it a couple of times during the practice. Not a big deal, but it would have been cool to try to see if I can show off. I don't want to spend like all night and trying to get that trick going. But anyway, this is Dynamines. Dynamines can be brutal with the enemies because kind of see a lot of guns, a lot of cannons and such, and bombs, rather sticks of dynamite. They can stun lock you, and you can get hit multiple times in quick fashion if you are not careful. So, name of the game of this level is don't get hit. So you just want to try your best to... Oh, wow. Well, there we go. We got hit twice there. Not a big deal. But thankfully, the main objective of the level, which is essentially kind of free the... I think it's the sheriff of the Dino Mines, and this is a very short level, so thankfully we don't have to deal with any more of that nonsense. But we do have one more egg to get in this level before we do what I like to call the cleanup, which is basically get any remaining eggs that'll push us to that count of 100. So I want to try to get this go for these mine shaft, this underwater mine shaft, which on console is a fantastic egg to get because, as I alluded to earlier, the in-game timer is paused anytime you don't have the ability to access the guidebook. And even though you are controlling Spyro and trying to get an egg, you actually don't have the you actually do not have access to the guidebook. You can press it however many times you want, won't be able to access the guidebook, meaning the endgame timer is paused, which is a fantastic egg to try and get to save a few seconds in terms of your in-game time. So that was our 95th egg. There's 5 eggs left, and this is where those remaining 300 gems are going to come into play. We're actually going to go back to Molten Crater, which is the 3rd level of this entire run that we went through. I kind of hinted at it earlier on, but there is a there's not only a gem check, there's a character check in this level that has a total of 3 eggs that we want. This one we could play as Sergeant Bird, and this one is this segment is really tough because actually, I know I'm kidding. We already got our first egg. It's literally just for 5 seconds just to grab that quick egg. So now we already got dealt with Sergeant Bird, and now we are going to get 2 eggs that have been the bane of my existence throughout this entire time running this game. This first thief, we just gotta chase him down, no biggie, and just gotta get a little bit closer to flame him, and boom. That's egg number 1. No problem. It's the second egg that has been a problem. I'm not gonna do the potentially risky strat. I'm gonna try to play it a little bit safe. We get supercharged, and boom, there we go. Okay, that's great. We got it just fine. So now that we got those 3 eggs out the way, we now have 98. So there's 2 eggs left. One of them, we are actually gonna come back to Desert Ruins and get the end of level egg that we never actually got. We got a bunch of eggs in this level, but we never actually got the end of level egg. And just like with Haunted Tomb, just like with Cloud Spire, just like with a couple of levels in this run, we actually have the ability to beat the level, quote unquote, from the very beginning. So if you I'm gonna position right here, and boom. Nice little perfect cover there, and we already got it. We already beat the level. So now we're gonna go into not Lara Croft, totally not a Tomb Raider reference right there, and that is egg number 99. It just is very easy. Just nothing to it. So now we have that was egg number 99. So now we're about to access egg number 100. So that'll be our final egg of this entire run before we fight the sorceress, the final boss of the game. But I'm actually a little bit in trouble in terms of health. One cool thing about the PS4 version, I don't know if it applies to the PS5 version, but if you kind of notice, the PS4 controller, it's showing green. The PS4 controller actually changes color, the little backlight, it changes color depending on Sparks' color. So it actually, like immediately matches up with Sparks' with what color Sparks is. And I'm going to show it in a second. Now that he said yellow, I'm going to try to illustrate what it looks like in yellow. So kind of see right there. Okay, on camera it kind of looks like more reddish, but I promise you it's yellow. Although, funny enough, if you do not have Sparks, if you're on your last hit, Sparks actually, the controller will actually be red. So that is kind of the color that shows off when you are on your last hit. And we need to get this we need to approach this fight at full health, because the sorceress, it's not a difficult to fight per se, but if you get unlucky, sorceress can potentially deal 2 hits in one, and you do not want that because, oh, and by the way, that's Ancient 9. We never rescued him. He is still technically stuck in his cage because we never rescued him. He is the one animal companion that we actually don't have to in the main game to be able to access the sorceress, because by this point you only gotta get the 100 eggs once you reach Midnight Mountain. And unlike the other 3 hub worlds, you don't need to complete every level in this set of levels just to be able to access that final boss. let's see. That was phase 1, where we basically used a nice little cannon. Phase 2, Spyro gets a little tank. Look at him, this cute little guy just going through a tank. All right, come on, sorceress. There we go. And we only have limited ammo. There we go. That is phase 2. The sorcerer was running a lot more erratically than he normally does, but that's not an issue. We're able to still have full health, and we are now actually on phase 3. So phase 1 takes only 2 hits, phase 2 takes 3 hits, phase 3 will take 5 hits, and we're just gonna wait until I'm gonna wait until all those electric balls finish firing. And that's unfortunate. Okay, we got hit. That is fine. We're in the blue. We want to try to avoid going to green sparks, because once we get green sparks, Agent 9 will prioritize health and not throw rockets and not throw the UFO. And well, that's unfortunate. And that's green, so that's going to be a bit of a time loss there, because he's actually not gonna do anything. He's not gonna give us another UFO until we have more health. So let's see. Will he give us a UFO, or is he gonna give us more fodder? Okay, no, he gives us another UFO. Okay, now we're gonna try to avoid getting hit. And ooh, that was close. Sorceress, naughty sorceress. This has not been. He has been acting a little bit naughty. Oh, come on. What? Okay, normally she is not supposed to run that far back. This is a very unlucky sorceress, but that's fine, because we are actually just about ready to hit time. The moment I get that final hit on the sorceress, that will be timed. So let's see. Okay, he's still Agent 9 still prioritizing health. We are at full health. Okay, so that should be not time now. Now that's time. Had to really make sure that the sorceress was gone for good. So that is our final egg of the run. George, we did all of this for George. Ooh, cliffhanger. Are we going to? If the sorceress is going to return? Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be our problem, because we are done with this game. So this is so really happy to have the opportunity to showcase this game. This game's really fun. I love the Spyro trilogy, and speedrunning this game has been so much fun to do, and it's been a lot of fun kind of just doing this in a marathon setting. Never shown this game in a marathon before, so I'm hoping that this is the first time, but it won't be the last time. It's what I'm hoping. I hope all of you guys had fun, and if you guys have any, and hopefully if any of you guys are interested in learning more about the Spyro speedrunning community, we have 2 Discords. We have one for an all-encompassing Spyro speedrunning Discord, and we have one dedicated to the Reignited trilogy. And if you want to learn more, you just want to, be a part of a great Spyro community. So, gonna beat this 20 minutes under the estimate. So, with the permission of Maddie and Sojalix, I do want to showcase one tiny thing. It's not a trick or anything. It's only gonna take a few seconds, but I just want to illustrate something. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So we have money bags right here. Question of the day, part 3. You kind of see that little helmet right there? There's money bags right there. And there's money bags right here. How does that happen? How do we have 2 money bags? And for our troubles, everybody loves doing this at the very end of a run. So we will do this right now. So, money bags took 2,300 gems. It's not fair that he gets to keep them. So now we are actually just going to we are now going to get back every single gem that we paid him throughout the entire run. Also note, this actually is not, we don't just get back the gems, we actually get another egg for this for our good deed of beating Moneybags. So that is actually a requirement to do so. If you want to do this 117%. And all right. I unfortunately I did not roast. I wanted to just charge straight at Moneybags. As Shadows to being Queen Soul on the chat asking to roast Moneybags. I am more of a charge at Moneybags. I want Moneybags to feel the sting of my horns instead of the burning sensation of my flames. So anyway, that's how I like to end my Spyro runs. Hope you guys all had fun, and thank you to the Running for Reals community for allowing me to showcase this run. And I hope all of you guys get to check out the rest of these great runs that we have in store for the rest of the weekend. So that is it for me. My name is Toronite. You can see me run this game and also Pokemon trading card game. Yes, the old 1998 Game Boy Color version of the trading card game for Pokemon. I also run that, so you can follow me at Toronite. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening or morning or afternoon, whatever time of day in your part of the world. So have a great rest of your weekend and stay beautiful, everybody.
And thank you so much for the run. It was great having you.
Day 1. Hope you all enjoyed. I certainly did. And just to run through things one more time before we wrap things up.